Good morning. Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Who is Galaxy Note 10, just so I know?
Jan.
Okay. Good morning, everyone. How are you?
Good morning.
All right. I just wanted to go over a couple of quick scheduling things, and then we'll get going. So today I was asked to teach the GPS to not only the PC group, but to everyone in the office. So let's see how that turnout happens. And we'll be doing that through Zoom, and that is from 12:30 to 2 today. So that'll take the place of the accelerator course. Or that is the accelerator course. Excuse me. So from 12:30 to 2 today, that course will be available. And what we're going to do is we're going to focus on what we have been talking about a lot in the leadership calls lately, which is a 90-day GPS. So a 90-day GPS, remember, let's get back to the purpose of what a GPS is. A GPS is a simple one-page business plan that is designed to tackle any goal. Okay, so the goal could be obviously business related or not business related, doesn't make a difference. So anytime you have a goal, you can create a GPS around that. So for example, let's say you wanted to make a hire. Okay, you wanted to hire an administrative executive assistant or something. Okay, so that would be the G. The priorities would be, okay, well, where are we going to find all the candidates for this? And then the strategies are, how are we going to implement the priorities, right? What are the strategies to implement the priorities? So it may be, research job boards, gather lists of questions, take career visioning, speak to people that have recently hired and find out what they did well and what they didn't do well, these kind of things, right? So that is essentially the execution of the plan. So over the last 4 or 5 years, anytime that I have had a big goal, I have created a GPS around that. So for example, I said, well, I want to hire an administrative person. I want to hire an assistant. And so I created her GPS really prior to me even hiring her to confirm and prove it to me that I had a list of things that were probably never going to get done unless I had somebody to help me, right? Because they had been on my list for years and years and they just hadn't ever gotten to the top of the list. So I had to create a plan to prove to myself that she was needed. And then that was the plan I handed her and said, hey, this is your job. And this is, my expectations of you. This is how frequently we'll talk. That's what the salary is. This is what the bonuses are and all that. Is this something you're interested in? And ultimately, we've been working together for over 4 years now, right? When I said I want to make $100,000 a year in profit share, I said, well, how in the hell is that going to happen, right? And so I created a plan around how that would slowly materialize. I'm not there yet, but I still look at that thing all the time, and I'm well on my way. Now, so the 90-day GPS is kind of a condensed list. It is why or how is this goal going to happen in the next 90 days? So it condenses all of the efforts and it makes it nice and simple. So we have just started a 90-day GPS with our leadership team that we all have different roles in, right? Melody's doing certain things, Lucy's doing certain things, I'm doing certain things, Lee and Aaron are doing certain things, Aubrey's doing certain things to make sure that if our parts are done, then the whole goal will be accomplished. Does that make sense so far? So the topic today is going to be a GPS for your business. Okay. And I have a nice plan in place for what I want to cover. Morning. But want to make sure that, are you okay?
Oh, yeah, I'm good.
Okay. I want to make sure that everything that we cater to the people that are on the call. So from 12:30 to 2 today, in this room will be that session. The topic that I kind of have right now, that I was going to use my numbers on, and I'd love to hear your feedback on this, is to close 6 units in the next 90 days. 2 a month.
That's good.
Is that crazy talk?
No, that's very realistic.
Yeah. And just a kind of a basic look at that is, if we have $350,000 buyers and $350,000 sellers, which is actually a good bit below our office average right now. So 350 buyers, 350 sellers. If we go on 3 buyer appointments and 3 seller appointments each month, take 2 of those listings. So go on 3 appointments, take 2, and close 1, we're going to hit our goal. So all you got to do is go on an appointment every 5 days, and you'll make that kind of money. Now, the money that you'll make is, that's what I'm pulling up right now, but what would you make? 11, 22, you make over almost $70,000.
I'll take that.
I suspect that would be pretty powerful for the good majority of us, right?
Yeah.
Okay, beautiful. Okay, how we all feeling?
I feel good. Joycelyn, what's going on with you?
Are you all right?
Yes, I'm fine. I just I went to have the testing done because I had one of my clients that actually works at the facility that they've had a lot of deaths at, like 17, one of those assisted living. She had like 17 people died. It's been all over the news.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
So she had picked up something from my house. I wasn't, necessarily didn't touch her. I just put something in her car. So I just did it because they had a facility that was close, and I wanted to just make sure. So I went on and had the testing done. And it is an interesting testing, and also because of my age. For those of you all that not as old as I am.
They like put the thing way back in your mouth or something, don't they?
Well, no, they put it in your nose. So they take it and they stick it, and it goes up to probably about here in your nose.
Oh.
Yeah, it's a little, for women who've had babies, it's no big deal. Probably for a man, it's probably beyond uncomfortable,
Oh gosh, I just realized I'm the only man on this call.
My husband went with me, so I know that's the truth. So
I'm the only man on this call.
I know.
My wife has had 2 natural births.
Right.
Not medicated.
And look, were you in the room? Did you pass out?
I was in the room. I did not pass out, but I was on I wasn't complaining about anything. Let's just put it that way.
Right.
I'm here to tell the story. All right. I'm glad that, and you got immediate results then, I guess, right?
No, they do not give you immediate results. You have to wait. They said 4 days that they should probably have them in the system. It's an interesting. It's when you go. It was only like a few cars, because you do it in your car, and as you've seen it probably on the news and TV, it's just like that. But it's an eerie feeling that you feel going through that process. But
can't even imagine.
Yeah, so we should know in a few days, but I already know I'm gonna be fine, so I'm not worried about it. So it was just to do it because I needed to make sure.
Well, you got a room full of people that are happy to help you, so just let us know, okay?
All right, will do. Thank you.
That goes for all of y'all. All right, who took a look at this yesterday? Tell us what you saw. Did you use any of the scripts? Tell us how people reacted. You're on mute, Kathy.
Okay. I used it on a couple of expireds, and one of them, he was like, I'm not interested. His house had expired about 4 months ago, And
hold on, back up. So I didn't, you haven't been calling expireds for a long time, have you?
I get a wild hair every once in a while and do it.
Okay. So did you start with this script, or did you start with the normal, like, I noticed your home came off the market. I'm wondering when you want to hire the right agent for the job, whatever.
I started with, it was a little bit different than that one, but it wasn't the new pivot script because I hadn't practiced it on anybody. So I wasn't feeling comfortable with it, but I'm going to, my grandchildren are still here. So I didn't get things done like I wanted to. Ice cream making and stuff came into my afternoon, but
It's God's family business.
Yep.
You just got to make sure you can afford it.
But I used a portion of it when this guy was like, no, this real estate market really scares me now. People aren't selling their houses. And I used the statistics of the 3 days before, which was 765 actives, 742 under contracts. Now that's taking the under contracts and the pendings that went under contract.
Right.
Because some people, some agents put it in there as pending. So I go back and look at that. And he was floored. And he said, let me talk to my wife. I'll call you back. So he's a doctor. He was in the middle of something, and but he was really shocked.
So these people, their home expired, and they believe the reason why their home expired was because there's just no activity.
Well, it expired 4 months ago, and they didn't have a lot of showings on it. So, but he was not, they were thinking about it was a Mark Spain listing. They were thinking about putting it back on the market this spring, but they had just written that off, maybe next spring. And so when I told him that, he was floored. And,
yes.
I had evidence to prove, I had statistics to prove that the real estate market is still chugging right along.
Right. And when people get emotional, the evidence to overcome emotion is the data.
Yes.
Right. Well, I feel like the market's not doing anything, or I feel like people aren't buying, and I feel like people aren't selling. Well, Kathy, would it surprise you to know that since yesterday, there's been 700 people that have bought homes?
Very surprising.
Really? Yeah. Actually, in the last 7 days, there's been over 2,000.
Yep.
When should we meet? Sounds like we should meet. Right. And at the end of the day, remember, everything boils back to their motivation. Selling a home is a pain in the ass. Buying a home is also a pain in the ass. Right? Yeah, it's fun, but it's also stressful. So why would somebody put themselves through that? They put themselves through that because they have a motivation that's larger than that. So sometimes we have to remind them what their motivation was, which presupposes, by the way, that we know what it was, right? So had your home sold 4 months ago, Mr. Simon, where were you going to be moving to? Well, we were going to move to Chicago. Oh, what's in Chicago? What was the motivation behind moving to Chicago? Oh, my mother is in an old age home in Chicago, and so we wanted to be there in case, to spend more time with her. Wow. So your mother's in an old age home in Chicago, and now you're here, right? And then you don't say anything for a second, and you let the silence do the heavy lifting, right? Because he's still got, or she's still got, the same problem, if you will, that existed 4 months ago, right? You just have to draw it back out of them and let those emotions resurface, because those emotions probably haven't really surfaced in at least 4 months. So you got to bring that back out and remind him that he's here and his sick old mother is somewhere different. Make sense?
Yes.
That's not manipulation. That's simply reminding somebody why they wanted to do something in the first place. Make sense? All right. Tell us more, Kathy.
Anyway, he said he would talk to his wife and would call me back at lunch today. So I was texting him. Saying, hey, I've got a 12:30 appointment just a few minutes ago. Got a 12:30 appointment. Just wanted to let you know that.
Yeah. And by the way, people expect you, this is a bit of a sidebar, but people expect you to be busy, right?
Right.
That's why it's okay to say I'm available here. And actually I have a previous commitment here. Your previous commitment could be with your calendar to do lead gen, or it could be with your grandkids to make ice cream, or it could be with your bed to take a nap, or it could be with your gym to get exercise, right? That's none of their business. You're available when you're available, and you're not available when you're not available. End of discussion, right?
Right.
We say yes to way too many things. And when we say yes to one thing, we're saying no to something different, or multiple different things, like our spouse or our grandkids or our rest or our health. Make sense? Okay, cool. Did anyone else use any of the scripts? Did anyone study them? This is a pretty cool packet KW put out, huh? Okay, it's in the email that I sent out on Sunday. Everyone's getting that, right?
Right.
Okay.
And tomorrow we report numbers.
That is well, technically the 30th, but
Okay. Yeah.
yeah. Right. Thank you for that reminder. If by chance you are behind, please report your numbers. I think there's one or two people on the call that are just a bit behind. If you could just take a peek at the spreadsheet and add whatever is necessary. You guys, we're doing pretty good. I'm gonna give you a quick update on the numbers. We're doing so well that we only lasted 2 months on our initial goal. And our initial goal was really what the team thought was like a 90-day goal. So we're ahead of pace. So far this month, we have generated over 430 hours, or we have spent over 430 hours on the phone generating leads. Okay, we've added 347 people to our databases. We've set 50 appointments as a team, held 43 of them. Okay, we've had 14 listing appointments held. 9 of those listings we took. We've pinned 16 deals. I'm sorry, we've written 16 contracts, pinned 9 deals. Okay, and I know we've got probably another 20-ish, 20 to 25 units that our team currently has under contract, roughly speaking, that should be closing within, let's just say, the next month to month and a half. Okay, so the closings are coming, and I am really grateful that the appointment numbers are going up. By the time this month is over, we probably will have doubled our lead gen hours, and we will maybe 1.5x our command hours. So I'm really proud of you guys. Next month, instead of a target of 14 listing appointments and 10 taken, we're going to up it just a bit, and we're going to go to 17 listing appointments as a goal for the group, 13 listings taken, and a closing units of 24. Okay. Now, I want to, every once in a while, I just want to check in with you guys and make sure that we're doing what we promised to do. Okay. Does anyone have any thoughts or questions at the moment?
Were you going to send us scripts to practice for that?
So I think the best use of our time tomorrow is that packet that we were just discussing.
Okay. Yeah, I agree. You're right.
I was going to go through all the stuff that KW has sent out and essentially put together my own packet. And right as I was sitting down to do that, I was sent this one. So that made my afternoon a little easier. But this is 45 pages of scripts that are that cover everything from, general check-ins, which in my opinion are probably the most important thing right now. They include text messages. They include pricing scripts, struggling, confused buyers, confused sellers. Remember, when people are confused, they're emotional. And the way to combat emotion is simply showing them the stats. right? Would it surprise you to know that there have been 250 people that have listed their property since yesterday, right? Are you serious? Yes, absolutely. The market is moving. As a matter of fact, my team can do just about every single thing in the process virtually, including closing. Would you like me to send the one sheet for you? Right? I'm going to be, I hope, please God, closing on my townhome tomorrow. And I've never been to a virtual closing. I'm kind of excited, or a curbside closing. I'm kind of excited to see what that's all about. Right? Is it cool, Kathy?
Yeah, that's cool. I was just thinking I've got a closing on Thursday, and it's coming in the office. Well, so I'm going to stay outside with the kids for my sellers, and they're going to go in at Kelly and Sorahan and Canton, and you know I've had one closing since all this started there, and it's just, you know, I'm not afraid of it. I don't think the buyers are afraid of it. You know, they're excited about the lot they're getting next door to them. They didn't want anybody building on this lot, so they're buying it. They're excited that nobody's ever going to be on that lot. So he's texted me since we've been in this Zoom call.
Yeah.
And then my sellers are so glad because they can move on and do something different.
You know, I love that idea. It's like, oh, I don't like what the neighbor's doing over there. Or I don't want anyone to build on that lot. Okay, well, if you don't own it, you got no control. So why don't you just go buy it? And then you do whatever you want with it.
Yeah.
And this guy's actually doing that. I think that's awesome.
Yeah.
Right. I just want to, you know, one of the things that we do as leaders of a group is to share what our goal is, what our mission is. And I just want to do a gut check real fast with you in the last couple minutes. Remember, we wrote this, at the very beginning. It says, our mission is to create a community of learning-based and purpose-driven leaders, focused together on accelerating the trajectory of our businesses and the quality of our lives. Using the powerful leverage of Keller Williams models, systems, and technology, we intend to create abundant lives for ourselves and for those we support. So there's a couple of, that's really meaty, right? Unity, learning-based, purpose-driven, leaders, together, acceleration, quality of lives, right? Abundance. I want that for every one of you. So I want you to have an abundant life. I want you to have the best quality of life possible, because more often than not, that's why you got into the business. So how are we doing? I'm going to ask for some direct, gentle 10 feedback. How are we doing?
You know, you can't steal my sayings.
I definitely can.
What do you mean, gentle 10?
You know, sometimes when I start off a coaching call, I'll say, like, you know, how, on a scale of 1 to 10, how direct and honest would you like me to be? So I actually, you just outed yourself, by the way, Jan. She said, I think she said an 8. And I said, an 8? So, like, if I know something about your business, you want me to keep it quiet? Right? And she's like, okay, how about a gentle 10?
Okay.
I agreed to a gentle 10. So I'm gonna turn the tables for a second. I want to make sure that I'm delivering my promise to you guys. How are we doing?
I'm going to give you a 10.
Me too.
Cool. Thank you. Talk to me about what, there's a question that I used to ask a lot in recruiting that said something to the effect of, if you were given the keys to the kingdom, what are the first 3 changes you would make at your current brokerage? So number 1, that implies that there's problems at your current brokerage, right? And it's a really friendly way to say, I need you to complain a little bit so I can fix it, right? Jocelyn, you're smiling.
Well, so I'm going to say, I mean, I love the concept of the productivity coaching. I think that for me,
Yep.
I think that I'm still overwhelmed with too many calls. I know we do PC every morning and all of that, and I guess it's because it's a lot.
Yep.
Just
I get that. I get that.
and so that's, I mean, and I think for and I know if I'm new to the KW concept, so yeah, there are a lot of things that I'm learning on that process. I think that on the maybe for the agents that may be a little bit more seasoned, that maybe we can alternate, maybe reducing some of our calls. I mean, maybe not. I don't have.
Yeah. Well, a couple thoughts on that. Number one is, remember, everything is recorded. I am a couple days behind in uploading it. I intend to do that today.
Okay.
So you can watch things, after hours when it's not the work day or you don't have other obligations. That's one idea. The other idea is you can get together with your accountability partner and say, hey, I'll take the morning huddle on Monday, Wednesday, Friday. You take it Tuesday, Thursday, or hey, you go to the class on Tuesday, I'll go to the class on Wednesday, and we'll take notes and we'll switch. So that's another idea as well.
That may be what we
so the
need to
morning
do.
huddle is really just it's kind of like
Checking.
your temperature. Right?
Yeah, I understand.
Do you need a pep in your step? Can we celebrate some stuff? Let me drop a little piece of knowledge on you. Let's get you thinking about success, and then you're off to the races. I was actually talking about this with my coach yesterday. I'm just trying to put myself in y'all's shoes as a newer agent or as a person new to KW, and like, there's just so much out there, and it's above average, right? And so, like, some of the value that I'm trying to communicate to you guys is just kind of getting lost in the shuffle a little bit, I feel like. So while I love you on every single call, what I love to see more is you hitting your goals. So if you're behind in numbers or whatever it is, that ought to be the focus. If you're struggling with a tool, a piece of technology, or a system, or something I said, or a class topic or something like that, just circle back with me, and we'll either schedule a time one-on-one to tend to it, or we can do a little group session if I see that a lot of people are struggling with it. At any time, I'm open to feedback. There's a number of people on the call today that have given me feedback. So, and some of it is not, you're wonderful, you're a 10. Some of it's like, hey, when you said this, it pissed me off. Or when I want this to be included in the program and it's not so far, right? And I believe that I've reacted positively to that, right? So please don't stop, okay?
All right.
Cool. All right, guys, I'd love your support at 12:30. I will let you know that I come back to this room at 9:30 and I see who's here.
Bill?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you know, with things gradually, slowly opening, was Grec one of them?
I have not been told that Grec is one of them yet.
Okay.
We check every day, though.
Okay.
Or Lucy checks every
I'm
day.
hoping.
We talk about it every single day, believe me.
It's amazing. It's amazing that we're still open for business, but they're not.
Well, it's strange to me that the email can't be handled remotely.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah.
And so even if they're not open for some processes, I don't know how they can't check email.
Or serve or actually do their job. If all you got to do is show paper and review files and these kind of things, like,
yeah,
get it done, because
I mean,
when it's done, you're going to get paid.
I mean, from my understanding, like, with the only thing that I don't have for my license is having paid them and them looked at my papers.
Yeah.
And they have an online payment portal, and all the documents were sent via PDF, and I went the extra mile and like gave all receipts of everything. And so when they can sell houses remotely and virtually, but they can't do a license that way, that's kind of, I'm trying not to be
Well, that it's not exactly
bothered by
the case,
that.
because we're the ones selling homes remotely, because
Right.
that's the way we get paid.
Right.
Right. So while we are, quote, essential, there are certainly real estate agents that are treating themselves as not essential and not doing anything.
Right.
So being essential is just justification for going out there. Right.
Mm-hmm.
Our governing body shouldn't be that way.
Wait, what are you saying? You there?
I'm having internet issues, so what did you ask?
You said the governing body shouldn't be that way. What are you saying?
Greg shouldn't be not essential.
I would agree with that, but there are also bowling alleys and tattoo parlors that aren't opening either, even though they're getting permission to do so. So I don't know. One of the things I learned a long time ago, guys, is that we can only control what we can control.
Yep. So I'm just, you asked where I'm at, and so for me, I have that in my head. And so like everything that you're doing here and the training and the different stuff that I'm doing is good. It's hard because on so many of my checklist items, I can't check them.
Yeah.
I just can't.
So what I would encourage you to do is focus on checklist items you can.
Yep.
So a checklist item might be, I'm going to talk to 10 people today, or I'm going to watch an hour of command videos, or
yep.
I'm going to, write out my goals for the next year, or I'm going to finalize my 1 through 5. And these are things you actually can do. You and your peers are in control of. So that's what we should focus on.
Yep.
All right. I'll see you guys back in half an hour.